Morning, ladies. So today's training is going to be all about having your own team group. What is the dealio on team groups? It seems like nobody can agree on what is the best way to do this. Some people have had their own team group since they recruited their first person at white. Some people set up a team group at blue, some at green, some have even waited until they're black. But we've never really had a set process to follow. But having just come back from convention and having attended a few leadership breakouts and having spoken to a lot of other Black status leaders in this business, it seems to me like all of the Blacks are in total agreement over what works and what doesn't. So I'm going to share my tips for you today based not only on my experience of what works and what doesn't, but also what all of the other Blacks have said works for them too, and it seems to be pretty universal. So the biggest mistake I see people make is the moment they have a team, the moment they have 3 or 4 ladies in their team, they go out and set up a team group. And they cut their ladies off from the huge amount of resources in their uplines team. They cut them off from the community. They cut themselves and their team off from all of the inspiration and the excitement and the buzz that's going on above them, so that they can be a leader in their own right and so that they can have their own team group. And they then spend a lot of time, waste a lot of time duplicating resources that are already there and putting their name to things and going into management mode, basically. And what you tend to find happens is because you don't understand yet that this is all about building a strong team of people who want to be led. You've got 3 or 4 ladies in there, maybe 10, 15 ladies in there, and they're not ladies who have the vision that you have. And so what you find is it's tumbleweed. There's no buzz, there's no interaction. And it really is a detriment to you that you don't have that excitement when everybody else who's in the main team group are all benefiting from the excitement and the buzz of their uplines group. So what I'm trying to say is, in the early stages of your journey, even in the middle stages of your journey with Unique, there really is no need to reinvent the wheel. This business is all about duplication of what works, and your upline, whether they're green, orange, purple or black, they know what works. They've walked the walk, they've talked the walk, they've hit their promotions, they have resources that we know works. So rather than reinvent the wheel and have your own team group and be training your girls afresh, it's already there. Resources are already there that have been proven to work. So I would say that when you're pink, blue, green, orange in some cases, even some purples, you're not ready to take ownership of your own leader group yet because you're still growing. And I would say let your upline take the strain. That really is the duty of a Black status presenter. When you're working towards black, which is the zenith of our comp plan, when you're working towards that goal, you need to be building. It's all about building. It's not about managing. It's not about it's not about having total control over everybody that you've recruited. It is about recruiting an army of ladies who want to be led, and by all means supporting them, and by all means building relationships with them, but not acting as a Black status presenter with all of that own branded resources before you've actually reached it. Because to be honest, leadership is something that's earned. It's not a title that's given to you once you have, a few ladies on your team. You have to get the results first, and then people will naturally want to follow you, and there won't be that tumbleweed in your team groups anymore. So I know that this advice isn't going to go down well with everybody, but in this business you really do have to leave your ego at the door. There's no space for ego, and if you really want to succeed, you have to lean on your upline and everything they've done, everything they've put together. Now, I'm not saying don't have a group. That's not what I'm saying. By all means, have a group, because I believe that a group is much better than a team message. When you put a load of girls into a team message together. The problem with team messages is they're really hard to monitor. And as your team grows and you get more and more ladies in your team, if you keep adding them to a group PM, then girls are going to get switched off because it's going to be constant beeping, oftentimes information that has nothing to do with them. If one person is negative, you can't delete it. There's nothing you can do. So I'm not a fan of large group PMs. So by all means, have your own team group where you can get to know your girls and you can start building that sense of community, and you can start, it's somewhere where you would go when you want to communicate directly with your team away from the noise of the larger team groups. So for example, I have my own direct group where I put all of the ladies that I've personally recruited into this business away from Vanity Flair, away from all the noise of it, all the other teams, where I can communicate with them directly. I very rarely post in it. But it's somewhere where we can all go and be together. But Vanity Flair is still my main team group. So yes, do have your own team group, but don't run it like the main training resource. That's what I'm trying to say. Always use your leaders' team group as the main training resource. A good example of this is Ria Rose, Black Status leader in my team. Up until Black, she did it perfectly. Up until Black Status, she had Carpe Diem Divas and all of her girls were in there, and she would post all the latest updates in there, and she would communicate directly with her team in there. She would put incentives on for her girls in there, but that was not the main resource. All of her girls were in Vanity Flair, and we were all working together towards our goals, and we were leveraging the excitement from other teams. We were leveraging the welcomes from other teams and the congratulations and the month-end announcements. We were leveraging all that buzz from the larger group of people. And then when she went Black, her team was large enough to break off. And so all of her ladies, they're still in Vanity Flair, of course they are, but they don't use it as their main team group anymore. They use Carpe Diem Divas, and she's maintained Black beautifully. So don't shoot yourself in the foot, ladies, by cutting your girls off and cutting yourself off from the main group and from the buzz and the excitement of what your leaders are putting on, because like I said, they've got to where they are because they've learnt what works and what doesn't, and you have all the time in the world to learn that leadership. But when you're working towards Black, your time needs to be spent building and not managing. You need to be finding an army of women who want to be led. So main takeaways from this video: have your own team group, but don't use it as your main group. Don't feel like you're responsible for branding everything with yourself at this stage, and don't feel like you are responsible for managing a massive team group when you already have one, in the upline that has it all going on. No need to reinvent the wheel. Okay, ladies, I hope that makes sense, and I hope you follow my advice because I know it works. Love you lots. Bye.